So we will get started here, so feel free to grab a seat. There's a few extra chairs in the back if needed, and then Chad, maybe we should have brought in the rack. I don't know, but do you mind? I don't know. I think we may be okay. We'll see. Maybe we can grab a few more. And then there's always the dreaded front row. Who wants to go to the front? I know. I'm with you. I'm a wall dweller. Any of you are, brave for being here. I'm always a wall dweller when it comes to shows or whenever I used to lurk around at like churches or spiritual communities, whatever. I'd always be in the back and hoping nobody would notice me. And I hated it. It's like, it's time to stand up and shake your neighbor's hand. I'm like, oh God, I think I have to go to the bathroom. It's time. Nature calls, pal. Sorry. But you can talk to my wife and kids if you want. I'm just kidding. She's like, I always feel bad saying things and then you can't. You can always feel free. This is open. The magic carpet is open for sure. Whoever wants to rap with me up here. All right, a few things as we get started again-ish, but we're getting started hopefully closer and closer, more towards like 10:05. I guess that's legit. Yes. Well, we have chairs. So if anybody needs chairs or you want like a footrest or whatever, by all means. Thank you. And so Betsy and the kids are, as you probably know by now, they're in between this office building and the auditorium. They're putting AC in the auditorium, so that's closed to us until May. It was April, it was March, and then it was April, and then it was May. And with contractors and things, and I have my history with commercial insurance, I understand how that goes. You milk the job, man. If you're working for the city, you're milking the job. So I know how that went. 2 extra months until we get back in there, but the kids are in a pop-up little canopy tent. So be sure to retrieve your child after the service today. And then in the back we have some coloring books and things because Betsy's program is for kids ages 6 and up. So if you do have kids and you want to bring them 6 and up, they can hang with Betsy, or you can feel free to color and draw back here with the kiddos. Just a few announcements, a few things going on to let you know about. First is our Gospel of Thomas group, which is super fun. We just had our first meeting, gathering, group hangout this past Wednesday at Daniel's place, which was great. I feel like it went great, Daniel. Don't you think so? I think it was good. But this is still open for anybody to come and drop in. Our last group that we did, The Way of Oneness, we went through a Thomas Keating book, and we were really encouraging people to... What's up, buddy? We were encouraging people to make a commitment for the whole 6 weeks. This is more just like drop in. We're kind of talking through some of the different sayings and things. So, if you can only come to one of them or a few of them, or you want to come to all of them, it's all good. Just come and hang out. All the information's on our Instagram, which, by the way, is super fun. Oh, you're at the Gospel Thomas group? Yeah, so it was fun. And Mia, too. So a few of you were there. So it was fun. And I thought I would read to you to entice you to come. To entice you. I thought I would read to you a few comments that we received on the post on Instagram. So, such kind people on the internet. I mean, just they really consider just all that there's a human on the other side of the screen, and they just really are thoughtful, metered, balanced people who surf the internet. Here's a great comment. Oh, look, an old Gnostic heresy. Okay. And I commented back, you say that like it's a bad thing. And they said, it's objectively a bad thing. Anything that objectively, when it comes to spiritual things, is always fun. Here's another one. Gnostic heresies in 2026? Wild. I know. Access to information is definitely great for people who want to think freely. Crazy. Yes. Here's another comment. Yes. The non-canonical heretical gospels. Ask Wesley Huff about these. I've seen enough of him on Joe Rogan. He's annoying to me, dude. I'm not listening to I digress. I've lost some of you here today, but sometimes we got to split the room. All right. If that's upsetting, just wait till what I got to tell you in about a half an hour from now. So, but just wanted to invite you to come and drop in and let you know that, like we talked about, the Gospel of Thomas gets lumped into being a Gnostic gospel, but it isn't really a Gnostic text. I won't bore you with all the YouTube rabbit hole and scholarly consensus about this, but there's really only a couple logions, sayings that could be placed somewhere in that vicinity, but it's not really truly Gnostic. I'll digress. If you want to talk about it more, come hang out with me on Wednesday night. So, next, we have a 3-week break. We meet on the first and third Sunday of the month. March has a 5th Sunday, and so we will be back here at the beginning of April, and that is Easter Sunday. So we will be celebrating Easter here together. After this service, that's the next one. We have a few fun things planned. Lindsay and Mary and myself are planning a really great service to celebrate Easter, and if I've already made my case, it's probably going to be maybe not as a traditional Easter service as you went to with your grandma. So, which is a great place and good meaning people and probably an awesome potluck, better than ours. But it's going to be a really wonderful Sunday morning. So next, remember there's that 3-week break. And who we are, I guess I should just tell you too, like what we're trying to do here in some way is, I can tell you my story at another time, but bottom line is pastor's kid, found myself in a ministry, went through this buzzwords called deconstruction, if you will, and started venturing into more of the Eastern traditions, ended up finding myself back in some way that the wisdom of Jesus just kept percolating in my life. And so now I'm finding a way to hybrid this golden thread that is love that pulls all things together to realize humanity's wholeness. And so what we're doing here is trying to facilitate a space for healing and wholeness. And so we certainly bridge from our tradition, the tradition that I've come from, but we're open to the ways that Christ manifests Christ's self in ways beyond orthodoxy or traditional spaces. So you'll hear me talk a lot about Yeshua around here, but I'll also talk about other things too. Wednesday I was saying I'll rap about the Four Noble Truths just as much as I will the Sermon on the Mount. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. This is the fun part where I tell you that we exist solely on tithes, offerings, and donations. So we invite you to partner with us financially because that is how a lot of the nuts and bolts happen. But we're hoping to expand, offer more things, retreats, groups. I'm starting a spiritual direction, actual like training. I'll talk more about that another time. But offer spiritual direction, things of that nature if you're navigating this path. So. And just want to end here with an intention as we drop in to our sound healing guided meditation today and message. Because I know that there's a lot that's happening in the world. I've been taking a lot of time away from social media personally. Just because for me, it just feels like such a noisy place right now. And so I'll drop in whatever and check things out. And then I normally jump off there pretty quick. I got on there the other day and the first post was like, San Diego Humor posted, like California might be getting hit with some drone strikes or something. And I'm like, sick. That sounds like fun. Are you sure this is San Diego Humor? And then like my whole feed was that. I'm like, all right, this is serious, and just my point is that there's a lot of unrest in the world right now. There's a lot of things that are unknowns. There's a lot of pain and frankly just evil that's happening in the world right now. And as I was kind of getting brought up to speed, I had to just go on a walk and just remember that the prayer of faith, hope, and love, I'll throw peace in there too, is always a valid prayer. And that right now, while we don't really know what's shaking down in the world, we don't really know what's happening, especially when you look at different news sources and things that are outside of our control right now. It's tempting to lose ourselves in a sense of panic and chaos. And so I just want to invite you that in this space, for this brief period of time, this container of 1 hour-ish, to just allow everything that is happening, and maybe everything that's not happening that we think is happening, just to allow that to press pause just for a moment. and allow ourselves to drop into the presence of peace that's available here and now. One of my favorite philosophers, Alan Watts, said that muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. And maybe many of us have a lot of muddy water in our mind right now. I know it's been a temptation for me. And so I think the best way that we can clear our mind, clear up the mud, is to be able to allow it to be still. So I want to encourage you to join us as a collective to have an intention to allow peace to be felt, to be realized. Because what we hope to do here is to press pause so that we can engage the world with meaning, with intention, with mindfulness, with awareness, so that we can actually be people of reconciliation in the world. And if we're not careful, out of our own fear and insecurity, we can just perpetuate some of the same stuff. So, just want to pray for us and set an intention this morning as we begin. Lindsay, do you mind to light our candles for us if you're new with us? This is a symbolic ritual that we do, and I use that wording intentionally to hopefully scare you some little bit. As a ritual, to remind us that we are all coming in here from the complexity of our own lives, with lots of things going on. And we light this candle in a way to invite God's light, and we set it above, symbolically, lifting the light above us where Christ is seated, allowing the light to bring illumination to our life, to dissolve darkness. That there are places and spaces within our mind, within our heart, even tension within our body, that the light wants to come and dissolve. So as we collectively make this intention to invite the light into our life, into our mind, into our heart, that the storyline and the narrative that plays on repeat, we invite a disruption to that narrative for a moment, for a new vantage point and perspective. And we devote this time to the Holy Spirit that is here, that has been here, that will always be here. So God, as we posture ourselves to receive your presence and your goodness, we ask that in the chaos of this world, you would bring a sense of peace in this moment. That you would help us to be grounded and centered. And for this brief moment of time, even with all the sounds and the noises and the things happening around us, that is such analogy for our life. There's a lot of noise, a lot of things, but we get to choose where our awareness goes. Thank you for this space. Thank you for your light. So be it.
So let's continue dropping into our center. And for this portion, you can either close down your eyes if they aren't already closed, or just finding a soft, gentle gaze forward, or perhaps on something that brings you some sort of light and pleasure. And just taking an inhale and connecting more consciously with your breath. And I just invite you, if it feels good, to even sit up a little bit straighter, finding your sit bones, and just really anchoring into your pelvis and your lower spine and just feeling what that feels like. If it feels better and softer for your body to lean back, please feel free to do so as well. And taking in those deep breaths, just noticing where that breath lands. Maybe it's your low belly, maybe it's your upper chest. Just simply witnessing without any force or pressure or judgment. I'm really seeing if you can find some more expansion in your low belly with that breath. Again, repositioning your spine in any way that feels more accessible for you. And letting out your exhales very slowly. Taking that deep breath in, filling up the low belly as best you can. And slowly exhaling. And if it helps to even bring a palm to your low belly, breathing into that palm, into that space. And allowing that breath from your low belly to move upwards towards your heart. Lifting your shoulders. Noticing if there's any places within your body that might be holding on to some tension, some resistance or heaviness. Even allow your body to kind of move or rolling your shoulders, just bringing awareness. Your loving presence to those parts of your body. And for these next few moments, I just really invite you to become really curious. Witnessing yourself in this experience. Witnessing what's in your awareness. Can you just take a few moments to detach from the story? Of what the world has told you you are. Can you let all of your layers just float down to the ground? Feeling a sense of unburdening for just this moment here. And just simply noticing if there's more spaciousness. More awareness, maybe a slower pace. Creating more space for your presence, for God's presence within you and within your life. And taking whatever else that you need from this moment, really soaking that up, taking your time with that. And when you feel ready, you can softly start to bring some gentle movements to your fingers, maybe rolling your wrists, your ankles, straightening out your spine, coming back into full wakeful awareness. Thank you.
I wasn't ready for that to end. I heard the chimes. I'm like, no, man. Oh, and I have to say something? Dude. Popcorn. All the public school kids know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Lindsay. It's interesting, even at the beginning, doing the announcements, it felt like there was a lot happening. I don't know if you felt that, but just a lot going on, you know. And I'm like, listen to these things that I think are important, and as I compete against the truck and everything else, you know. And it's just beautiful how, like, as you let us into that space, like, everything just really got still. I don't know if I'm the only one that felt that, but I feel like there was just like this coming into equanimity and balance. You know, so much so that my, I shouldn't always reference this stuff all the time, but my, you know, nagging Capricorn moon forgot what time it was. I always know what time it is. I was like, oh, geez, all right. Okay. I think I'm done. So just wanted to share with you a little bit this morning about some of where I've been. And as usual, I just want to share with you some things and pick up what you feel like is relevant to you and that is helpful, and discard what isn't. But I just feel prompted to share just a few things that have been happening within me, and then kind of some clarity that I feel like that I've been approaching, that I feel like in my particular experience of life is actually something pretty universal. The particular and universal is typically something that we think what we're going through is only us, you know, and it's only my whatever it is that we're going through. But we find that, like, actually that's just part of the human experience, and many other people are navigating similar things. So you may hear some parts of my story that's like, that's just for you, Luke, but then you'll find your own things to pick up to through some of this. So I've been in like and I promise it won't be too therapeutic, but I've been in like a 5-month funk. That's what I'm affectionately, not so affectionately calling this now, of just like this haze and malaise and just kind of despair that's been just kind of floating around. And, I know how to just kind of override that at certain times. And I've been, let people have a peek into that from time to time, but have been pretty, Lindsay, my wife, gets a front row seat. Like I've been pretty much like behind the scenes, like, just trying to sort things out, just feeling a lot of haziness, a lot of fog, and a lot of things that have to do with sort of like direction and purpose. And I feel like there's something new that's emerging. There's some fresh chapter, and I've been kind of like in limbo waiting for that in some ways. And I briefly mentioned this at the last talk, I think, but just I felt like the retreat was kind of like a culmination of that. And I didn't really feel like what I thought I was going to feel like from that, and talked about some of that last time. But it's been an interesting time over these last 2 weeks. And even what I shared about the supernatural being hidden deep in the natural. And I believe that is totally true. And part of that was me preaching to myself. Kind of what I'm doing all the time. But just reminding myself about that. But I got to be honest with you, like, even as last Monday, just kind of got up again, and I thought I was starting to kind of get through some of this fog. Have you ever been in a season of life where you're just like, God, I cannot sort of get through the density? It's just like everything feels kind of heavy, and it's just one thing after another. I joke around the house. It's always something. Lindsay's like, stop saying that. Words are vibrations. I'm like, I know, but damn it, it's always something. Seriously. And it just felt like that, and unsure even what all of this is going to look like, just to be real frank and candid with you. Just unsure, like, there's a whole lot of self-sabotage that goes on even about some of these things that I won't bore you with right now. But I just felt like a sense of like, of course, the supernatural is hidden deep in the natural. Yeah, I get that. But I just felt like I needed a change of perception of life. Sometimes and maybe I'm the only one, but you get stuck in these loops where like, it's just, you try to break out of that narrative. You try meditating, you try praying, you try reading some books, you try talking with a friend, maybe you see a therapist. These are all great things that you should do. But over time, you're just like, I don't know. Like, I just kind of keep this neurological pathway, this groove is real deep, and I don't know why. It's just pulling me into its vortex right now and just keeping me in this sort of like not healthy mental space and loop where, hope is kind of fading, and not to mention that the world's quite literally falling apart. So there is that. Fair, valid. The thing is coming off at the hinges. But I just felt like I needed something to help with that. And so we're going to split the room here a little bit, but stick with me for just a moment, okay? So I'm like, you know what? Maybe some mushrooms will help. Like any pastor would say, right? Am I right on this? Like anybody that's a clergy member would be like, you know what? I need a little dose of psilocybin. That's what will do it. All right, so before you go storming out with your Bible, stick with me. Just for a sec, okay? I do feel like it would be an opportune time to kind of speak to that for a second, because we have had people in the community ask, what are your thoughts about that? What do you think? And I think there's no better time in the questions of psychedelics to quote St. Paul, and that is, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. I think that's what he would have said too about this, which is always fun. And so, just so you know, like I'm not like I like listening to Terrence McKenna, but I am not a psychonaut or anything. I'm not spending every other weekend, second and fourth weekend, blasting off with DMT or something, or talking to aliens and following elves around. While I like to listen to that on podcasts while I go on walks, I'm not actually doing that. I'm a phony, okay? So I've had a few experiences of this in my life, and I just want to say that It depends. It's really not for everybody. I think under the right circumstances and with the right people, I think that it can be something that can be beneficial and helpful. If you're a science person, there is scientific evidence for this as well too. But it also, I have friends, I love to quote my Alan Watts quote of, when it comes to that, when you get the message, hang up the phone, And I have some friends that are deep into psychosis with this, and I'm not like trying to be funny. Like it's quite scary what's happened. And then I have other friends that have had extremely transformative and healing experiences as well. And so it's like with everything in life, it's not just cut and dry and linear. It's like, well, that kind of depends. And it might be the right season for you, it might not be, whatever, I don't know. So I really questioned even talking to you guys about this today, because a friend of mine was like, you should probably write that down and sit on it before you go and take it to everybody. And I'm like, that's wise. Sat for a few days, we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about that. And so the reason that I want to talk to you about some of these things that happened for a moment, and this isn't like a Tales from the Trip or whatever. You can watch that on YouTube if you want. It's fascinating, but it's not really that. It's taking you somewhere else, hopefully today. Because all of these things are just tools. And you got to decide based on the job what tool is necessary. It's changing my son's inner tube on his bicycle. It's like, I could probably do this with my fingers maybe, or with some adjustable wrenches, but it really helps to have the right tools to do the job. Well, you're up to discern what are the right tools. Maybe for you it is having spiritual direction with someone. Maybe for you it is seeing a therapist. Maybe it is just actually taking a break and not coming to current, not doing anything. And what's the tool that's helping you get to the real thing? Because the real thing is never whatever tool or method it is. The real thing is wholeness. The real thing is the reality that divinity has been in you the whole time. And we're excavating through all of our conditioning, all of our story, all of our stuff, all of the, quote, sin, if you want to use that language, all the ways that we're just not living and hitting this mark of what it means to be our true self in God, which is all that means. And if you want to know more about terms, I wrote Words Create Worlds that, you can wrestle with all those Christian terms that are like, yikes, righteousness, ugh. But, that just means living in tune with, in accordance with. Oh, okay. So, these are just tools. They don't hold any answers in themselves. None of it does. No church, no institution, no person, no one else, no thing, no psychedelic, no nothing has the answers for you. They can maybe open up in certain ways, being tools to that. Or, like every tool, can also be doubled as a weapon. So, be careful, be mindful. So this particular day, I realized that I don't know if I should tell you that, but there was a way that I had some. We'll just put it that way. I don't want to incriminate myself. The police hang out around the corner, so I'm like, I don't still have any of that. I'm going to incriminate myself. So I'm like, okay, I have like this 6-hour window of time, and I'm like, all right, let's. I just felt that prompting of like, maybe this could help me see something that I'm not seeing. So I have this particular amount and start journaling and already start feeling like all the other responsibilities start to come up, and I'm like, nah, it's cool, because I'm by myself, which is kind of like not a smart thing to do, by the way. But start journaling with this intention, of like, I just really want to have a fresh perspective. I want to maybe see something that I'm not seeing. Maybe I'm so lost in my own delusion and lost in my own despair that I can't see something, and I'm spending extra meditation time, and I'm doing these practices, but I'm just like pouring my heart out to God. And as I'm like writing more and more, and all in those spaces, I just invite the presence of the Holy Spirit, which I should say I haven't done anything like this in like 5 years. So it's been some time. And I'm like, okay, just pouring my heart out to God and just asking for just the Holy Spirit to lead and guide. Jesus said, the Spirit of truth will lead you into all truth. And just inviting that Spirit of truth to bring leadership into my life with the best of intention and to see what this next step is for me to do. I feel like there's something else changing and I need to do something differently in my life. Have you ever been there at a crossroads where you're like, what I'm doing can't be done any longer. I need to change things. I need to do something different. My friends, okay, I'm not alone. We've been in that place where ultimately sometimes pain pushes until the vision pulls. I can't take credit for that. Michael Beckwith once said. And I think that's true. Sometimes the pain is pushing us so far that we're like, we need a vision to pull us. We need something, some meaning, some purpose. It's like the river is run dry, you know? So anyway, pouring my heart out, and after some time, and then I really start getting that Capricorn moon thing, and I'm like, I am not being productive. This is not good. I'm going to go clean the back patio, you know? So I go and I change into some like dirty clothes, you know, dirtier clothes, and to go outside to like trim the bushes. What am I thinking? I don't know, but that made sense. And then all of a sudden I'm like, God, I don't know, I need to sit down. I'm feeling cold, and my stomach starts hurting, and then I'm like, uh-oh. We're here for a little ride. Whoops. So I have kind of a thing there, push past that, you know. I put like a blanket over my head for some reason, because you do that kind of weird stuff when you're starting to enter into this space, and you're like, mandalas start showing up, and you're like, damn it, I wanted just micro mini, man. I wanted enough so that, like, you know, I could be inspired a little bit, not like, you know, taken into the depths of the underworld. I'm not here for that today. I got to pick up my kids from school in 6.5 hours. Oh, I'm not responsible. I am, actually. Okay, I'm going to stay on track. Too responsible, I think, in some ways. Anyways, so I bust past that or whatever, and I just started to feel real claustrophobic in the house. I'm like, I got to go outside. So then I'm like, I know I need to eat something, grab a banana, whatever, go outside, peeling the banana on the back patio, and then like, it's like, if you're familiar with any photography, it's like somebody turned down the exposure and turned up the saturation. I'm like, shit, we're here. All right, here we go, banana time, you know. You know, oh, all right, I got to stay outside because I'm going to go mad. So I grab my journal and I grab a blanket, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the beach. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Lindsay's going to call me in a few minutes, and I got to try to tell her what's happening. So start walking down to the beach. This is going somewhere that has to do even with Jesus. So just trust me for a second, you know. And so have this conversation with Lindsay, and it's a really, really beautiful conversation. She's like, you okay? And I'm like, yes, I think I'll be all right. I can walk down the street, so that's cool. And so we have this great conversation, and she's like sharing some of her heart about where she's at, and I'm just revisiting just some of my intention with her. Like, I just feel like something has got to give, and I'm going to extreme lengths to try to find that answer. You know, again, I've not been involved with any of those sorts of things for more than 5 years, and I'm like, I just feel like I'm pushed to a place of desperation, like you, I'm sure, have felt in your life. So we hang up, and I look over, and I see this like roundabout sign, you know, with the arrows. And I'm thinking, I'm like, that's what I feel like's happening. It's just stuck in this roundabout loop. Walking over to the beach, I start really thinking about that for a little bit. But over the course of this time, and I go down to the beach and hanging out and journaling and things, this starts to come up within me of, and you know, you're not really in control in some of these spaces, which was probably the best thing for me in that moment. And just thinking like about my family, and thinking about my kids, thinking about our beautiful community that we have here. And yesterday was 10 years ago that we moved to San Diego from Indianapolis, and so it's like we're celebrating a decade here. So I was already just kind of thinking about what that decade represents, and how I would have been very scared of this person 10 years ago. Yikes. Crazy how you evolve over time, if you allow it and you're not, you know, scared of it. And so the point is that I started to think about this sense of love and this ability to love, and reflecting in my own heart, and maybe you feel like this as well, is like I actually love to love. And I really care about caring, actually, a lot. And it means a lot to me to know that I am actively loving people, and that they feel that love and care from me. That matters a lot to me. And then as it goes, like, you just are kind of following this sort of like waves of thoughts and prompts and things that are coming through. I just had this very sobering thought of like, what if it all ended right now? Like, what if life was just done right now, you know? And not to be too morbid with you on a beautiful Sunday morning when you're trying to be chill and vibey, but, you know, what if I went into the water and didn't come back? What would that be like? Some of you have had those thoughts. And so as I started to think about that, if I were to, you know, not be, if it were to all end here, what that would be like. And if I felt like it was all worth something, you know, if it mattered in any way, if I was truly from where I was growing up, you know, if it truly is now, once you go to the other side, you got to sit with all these weird angels and watch your life back on a big TV screen, and they're sitting there with their glasses and taking notes, like, oh, I messed up there big time, yikes, bumping you down the list. Peter, did you see that? My God. You know, if it really was that, if it really was a review of everything, do I feel like it mattered in some way? And as I was thinking about that, on the loving side, I think yes. And then this thought popped in, have you allowed yourself to be loved? And it's like, in a lot of ways, and I'm just being vulnerable with you this morning here, not as a marketing tactic, actually trying to hope that I'm not getting too in my head about your opinions of me now afterwards. But I'm like, you know, I don't know that I would pass that test. I don't feel like I'm very good at that, allowing myself to be loved, you know? And so I just sat with that for a really long time, of like, this mantra popped up in my head, to love and allow myself to be loved. Love and allow myself to be loved. And it just became this kind of mantra that I started to repeat, and, you know, things started to come down a little bit, and things, you know, the sand stopped moving and such and whatever. And, you know, I'm walking home thinking about this. And I'm not going to lie to you, I talked to Lindsay that night, and the next day things are happening, and I'm like, you know what? As I'm thinking about this more, I feel a little ripped off from the situation, because I'm like feeling still in kind of a weird place, and had some more depressive days afterwards. I know it's fun to be me sometimes. And it's like, you know, I'm just realizing I didn't get my direction. I went into this thinking I would know better what to do next, and I didn't get any of that. All I got's this dumb hippie stuff of to love and allow myself to be loved. How is that supposed to help me in any way? You know, I'm like, I don't know. I like pulled my old Birkenstocks back out because of it. Like, what else do I get? What can I actually do now because of this? My practical, tactile, you know, whatever. And I just started to think about, and if you've been around here for any length of time and you're like, yeah, we've heard this one before, well, you're going to keep hearing it. When Jesus is cornered and they're saying, what matters the most of all of the laws, of all the ways that we are supposed to not only engage with God, but conduct our lives, all the 636 laws, you know, of the covenantal way that you are supposed to, you know, love God and all of this and live life. You know, what are the most important? They're kind of punking him. They're like, good teacher, if you're so great, wise rabbi, why don't you tell us what are the best of the laws that we should be following to make sure God actually likes us and accepts us, and whatever other sort of stuff, commentary you'd like to add to it. And he says very simply to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. That everything, the whole religious, spiritual, human experience can be bottled up into that two sides of one coin. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And if you stick with that, you're going to be all right. You're going to make it. Your life will be worth it. It'll be meaningful. It will be impactful. The problem is that For me, I'll just go off the diving board first. For me, I get stuck into the ideas of whatever 636 other laws that I've came up with to myself to just beat myself with, to think I'm not really hitting the mark. I'm not really living in union with God. I'm not really serving people the best I can. I'm not actually a good leader or a good whatever it is that you want to place on yourself that's trying to get you merit to be accepted by God. And what we're really asking for is, how can I get down to that sense of knowing I'm okay, to knowing I'm all right, to knowing I'm doing the right thing, living the right path. And this is why I circle back to Yeshua time and time again, because he makes it really, really simple. He's like, if you love God and you love people as yourself, which implies you got to love yourself. My evangelical upbringing didn't hit that one very well. It's like, you got to take up your cross, die to yourself. It's like, that's the ego, dog. We're not talking about that. Anyway, what a new ager. Sometimes. It just gets back to this simplicity. And what I've been learning and trying to process is it's actually way more simple than what I've been trying to make it look like and be. And I was reminded of another famous teaching of Jesus where he says, don't worry about what you will wear, what will happen to you. Like, tomorrow has enough worries of itself. And if you're anything like me, the minute that I was trying to stay off social media like I was telling you, but then I get on to try to log on to my email and like Yahoo News is up there and they're giving me all the stuff I don't want to see. And I'm like, I'm trying to go away from you, man, you know? Like, tomorrow has enough worries for itself. And what are we trying to do to make ourselves measure up to a particular meaning that we've created? And is that really the divine purpose for our life? Is the divine purpose for our life actually much more simple than what we've actually created it to be? And so it really actually matters a lot less if I'm doing all of the right things or not doing. One of the things I was journaling was like, the divine's far more interested in the creation and shaping of my character in likeness of God than what I have accomplished or done for this being. And this is kind of exactly what I was getting away from in my upbringing. It's like, we counted everything by how many baptisms there were, how many salvations, how many pledges for Christ and all this. And it's like, that's fine and good, you know, if you're wired that way. But for me, I'm just like, that doesn't seem to be the metrics that Jesus cared about too much. It's just like, you know, were people cared for and loved and seen? Were the least and the last and the overlooked of society made valid as human beings? That's what matters. Or like my daughter walking someone to the restroom. Thank you, sweetheart. That's my daughter. So I'll land this plane just with that of like, I came back to this love and allow myself to be loved. And I just felt like that was important to share and then not candy coat it to you of how I got to that. I could have easily just been like, I had a day of contemplation and prayer and this is what I came to. But I've consciously chose to let you into the nooks and crannies of my life to let you know that I'm just a person trying to figure it out too. Okay? We're all walking each other home. Just because I sit up here and do this does not mean that I'm not still on the path and figuring it out. And so just want to encourage us that wherever you're at, if you do feel like you're at a crossroads or maybe you're navigating and you're struggling with the state of the world right now and the impending doom, tomorrow has enough worries for itself. And can we love God with everything we are and love our neighbors ourselves? And if we keep doing that, I think we'll find our way together. And that's what this place is here, is to remind us to remember that, you know, that there is goodness within us. There is wholeness within us. All the fragmentation and brokenness that we are navigating, it's not a branding on you. You're not that. You are the deeper true self, God within you, made in the image and likeness. And you are the beloved. Can you allow yourself to be the beloved and live out of the overflow of that? And that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm asking you guys to hold me accountable to it, if you don't mind. Let's stand and pray, shall we? And as we just have these last few moments of stillness, this is arguably probably the most important thing, in my opinion, that we do at our services. And I just invite you to, if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, you don't have to though. And if you feel comfortable to hold your hand or hands open, I invite you to. You don't have to, but it's just a physical, symbolic way of opening ourselves to saying, God, we are open, willing, available to receive your love. And even the physicality of having an open hand is implying that we are releasing the clinches of the way we manipulate our own lives. The way even that we manipulate, try to, divine will in our life. So I invite you to open up the clinch. And in this holy not knowing of what's happening, we receive the peace that surpasses understanding. So God, we thank you that you are comforting us, leading us, guiding us. We collectively welcome you to be the orchestrator of our life. Help us to play our part in the divine dance as we follow your steps. And when things are clear, we're grateful for them. And when they're unclear, we're grateful for that too. Because we trust that everything belongs. Help us to love and to be loved. So be it. Amen. So as we close the service today, I encourage you to find someone to say hello to. If you've never met someone here before, or again, if you made awkward eye contact with somebody, that's always your sign. That will never get old to me. So say what's up to somebody, and then we'll see you in 3 weeks for Easter. Have a wonderful day, friends.